Hello, folks. It might be an abbreviated version of world politics, depending on who shows up. I know that a couple of the regulars have got prior commitments. Rick Rosner is dealing with some things in his life. And of course, Steve Rao is usually out and about. And all along those lines, we'll see if Sasha Starr shows up. I think Jatovi may be dealing with the whole game that is going on. I think the Bulls have a local game. And of course, that's the one involving the Stanley Cup. So he might not be in place either. But we'll see if Sasha or Sharif shows up. Otherwise, it may be an abbreviated version. But let's just see some of the political news that is taking place in the world and see what's going on in that regards. Mystery of U.S. military plan landing in Moscow solved as aircraft leaves Russia. Former senior Russian official warns unknown sources could attack UK factories. UK officials prepare for potential Trump talks as Burnham plans a New York trip. Britain giving Ukraine access to secret missile technology. Will it make a difference? Is what some folks are asking, and all along those lines. The wreckage of a 1948 Altalena ship is found intact off of Israel, so that is something that folks are talking about as well, and all in that space. So analysis: Ben Gavir's ambush shook Netanyahu and unleashed a war for right-wing votes. PM hails the finding of Ergon armed ship Altalena and denounces Ben Gurion for attacking it in 1948. So Israel locates Atalena ship after 18 years at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea. Ukraine is targeting Russia's retail giant. Ozon is the next economic pressure point. So Russia's second biggest online retailer, Ozon, targeted Ukrainian strikes. So Ozon is next in key sites as sheds of Wildberries rival burn. So Ukraine targets Russian e-commerce giant Ozon. So we'll see how this plays out as well. And tornadoes rip through towns in southern France. Moment that the tornado tears through southern France, a tornado tears through a village in southern France, wrecking 300 homes, and all in that space. And Iran and Oman are discussing joint shipping route in Strait of Hormuz and mine clearing mission. Iran and Oman hold talks on managing the Strait of Hormuz, and that's definitely something that folks are talking about in terms of Middle Eastern news. Iran and Oman discuss temporary shipping lanes through the Strait of Hormuz. And the latest dangerous social media trend that gamifies deadly driving. Row breaks out over minister's tribute to all 80 A66 crash victims. So father's house rammed before son died in the A66 crash. And 5 more arrested over crash that killed 7 people, including 2 police officers. And that's something that's going on in the European area. Forget about going back 9 years on. Rohingya crisis enters dangerous phase, and definitely they're asking why some of these refugees still can't return to Myanmar. What would justice look like if there was no Rohingya left in Myanmar? Keep the diplomatic pressure on. Bangladesh is urging global pressure on Myanmar for Rohingya return as crisis enters its 10th year. And Germany under threat? Merz says after another explosive drone was found near the airport. Germany's Merz warns attackers will pay price after drone incident. Third drone and suspected military explosives found near the Leipzig airport. Germany to say who's behind the attempted airport drone attack soon, says Merz. An Iranians queue for patrol as U.S. blockade bites. So definitely that's something going on as well. And of course, a lot of people are talking about what's going on with Canada and the trade war that is going on between the U.S. and Canada. Ukraine needs changes to avoid losing the war, is what the ousted defense minister is saying. Zelensky says his ex-defense minister was wrong to call for elections. Zelensky says wartime elections could destroy Ukraine. Zelensky should be asked what he knew about government corruption, sacked minister, it tells the BBC, and all in that space. So we'll see what goes on in that space and how it impacts the war in that area. Andrew Tate rented supercars to appear uber wealthy, says his lawyer. Andrew Tate exaggerates and did not own supercars in photos, his lawyer says. Tate Brothers' lawyer says uber wealthy image included rented supercars. So the Tate brothers faked their wealth for social media is what their lawyer is claiming, and all in that space. European court says the Turkish judiciary has a systematic problem and all in that face. So, European Court of Human Rights orders Turkey to free Osman Kavala. European Court orders Turkey to release the philanthropist Osman Kavala. And it definitely looks like the European Court has lobbed a third order to free Turkish activists jailed for life. UN and Red Cross call for urgent rules on autonomous weapons. UN and Red Cross step up calls for international rules on killer robot weapon systems. UN Chief Red Cross are renewing calls for rules on lethal autonomous weapons. So humanity's last order, war in the age of AGI, is what is being reported in the Small Wars Journal. A Chinese artist has been sentenced to 3 years in prison over a satirical Mao statues. So Chinese dissident artists jailed for 3 years over Mao sculptures, family and rights groups are saying. So artists known for sculptures of Mao Zedong have been jailed for slandering heroes and martyrs. So it looks like the Chinese artist has been jailed over the satirical works of ex-leader Mao Zedong. South Korea says U.S. canceled joint marine drills over force constraints from Iran war. U.S. cancels marine drills with South Korea, and Trump will make South Korea pay for his Iran humiliation. So that is something that folks are talking about as well. And like smoking a cigarette, Indonesia is choking on haze as blazes intensify amid the Super El Nino. And Haiti gangs kill at least 47 people in attack near the capital. Dozens massacred in Haiti, officials say, heightening fears of gangs. More than 50 kidnapped after violent gang attack in Haiti leaves 47 dead. And definitely that's something that's being talked about in the Caribbean and all in that space. Denmark's Mette Frederiksen criticizes cosmetic surgeon's message, "I'm fine with my body." Danish leader responds to unsolicited beauty advice. So she's saying this was unsolicited beauty advice. "I'm perfectly fine with my body." Danish Prime Minister blasts plastic surgeon's beauty advice. So the Danish Prime Minister had rejected the surgeon's unsolicited offer to fix her nose. "Fix that little spot," Danish Prime Minister hits back at unsolicited beauty tip from a cosmetic surgeon. And Russia's infrastructure is being pummeled by Ukrainian strikes. Now Putin wants to seize things in that regard. So Russia to seize poorly protected infrastructure amid Ukraine drone attacks. Putin decried lets Russia take control of infrastructure damaged in Ukrainian drone attacks, and all in that space. I want to come back to the Danish Prime Minister for a minute because I saw something similar on a TikTok feed that I was on earlier, where the host was being criticized for her gap and all along those lines, the gap in the teeth, and some people were trying to suggest that she needed to do something about that, and she was letting folks know that she was perfectly happy the way that she looked and the way that she was, and all in that space. So sometimes bots and other folks are trying to make comments that they probably don't need to be making, and all along those lines. Homes submerged, tens of thousands relocated in China South as flood intensifies. So that is something that folks are talking about as well. So definitely that's something that is going on in the world and that folks are talking about. Archbishop Gallagher begins visit to Russia. So Vatican Foreign Minister in Moscow says Ukraine war must end. Vatican's top diplomat begins visit to Russia as European leaders flock to Kyiv. Archbishop Gallagher is in Moscow. Diplomacy and dialogue in pursuit of peace. And video shows hundreds held captive after Nigeria mosque kidnapping. So Nigeria's president orders rescue after mass kidnapping exposes security failings. Nigerian mosque attack exposes extremist rivalry over doctrinal authority and control of communities. So Nigerian president orders rescue operation after mass kidnapping at a mosque. UK's rarest bird of prey rears new chicks in secret location. This rare polyamorous bird of prey's location has been kept a mystery. Here's why. The UK's rarest bird of prey rears 6 chicks in a secret spot, offering hope for the species. UK's rarest bird nest kept secret to keep wildlife photographers away. Trump administration to return diplomats to Middle East embassies. U.S. starts returning staff to Middle East embassies after Iran war evacuations, is what sources are saying. U.S. said returning diplomats to Mideast, signaling fresh Iran hostilities not imminent. So Brent plunges 3%, retreats to $87 as U.S. Sending diplomats back to Gulf calms the oil market and everything like that. And ships struck in the Strait of Hormuz hours after Trump's economic D-Day campaign on Iran. An attack disables a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, and other news from around the Middle East was being reported by CTV News. And new tankers strike in Hormuz as Iran vows retaliation for U.S. economic offensive. And definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. The new data that undermines claims of Gaza famine is what the Free Press is reporting. Gaza, and according to the UN News, children are still at risk despite a drop in acute hunger. New UNICEF led data undermines the claim of Gaza famine. New SMART survey provides updated assessment of child and maternal nutrition in accessible areas of Gaza. And as it reported earlier today, France and Saudi Arabia agree on a $6 million Euro themed park. So definitely this is something in terms of pounds. I think it was $6 million. In terms of American dollars, it will be about $7 billion. So they get a $7 billion green light for a park that'll be over there near Paris. European leaders mark Ukraine's 35th Independence Day as Russian invasion is still going on. Putin panics as defiant Ukraine marks Independence Day under Russian bombardment. As Ukraine allies gather for big anniversary, one key backer was absent, and I think we were talking about that earlier because that would have been the U.S. And deadly Ukraine strikes in southern Russia force oil refineries to shut down. So Ukraine's double-barreled drone strike snarled Russian oil flows, and 2 killed and a refinery on fire in Russia's Krasnodar after a drone attack. And mobilization fears grip Russia as Moscow forced recruitment spiked. Aggressive recruiters are rounding up Russians to fight in Ukraine. In one town, they're pushing back. Russia's mobilization fears grow amid reports of intimidating tactics. Anti-war NGO reports rise in forced enlistment across Russia and everything like that. So we'll definitely be hearing more about that. And U.S. again declines to join UN statement condemning the Russian strike on Ukraine. So civilian suffering growing in the Russian-Ukraine war, and Ukraine's UN rep says Russia is losing the war against Ukraine. And according to 8 a.m. media, UN is saying that the need to end the Ukrainian war is more urgent than ever. The Jackal Review, a killer in a beret. The legacy of Carlos the Jackal, a killer in a beret. The Wall Street Journal apparently had some reports on that, and that was reported in Maxter. And Spain to reform asylum laws in line with EU as Ceuta remains unsolved. Spanish government says sorry to people of Ceuta for migrant crisis. Spain Sanchez calls national security meeting 26 days into the Ceuta migration crisis. So Spain requests emergency funding from EU over this crisis that they're having with migrants in their part of the world. And Colombia's armed groups recruit children and train them in drone warfare, rights group is saying. So drone warfare is becoming very popular in various parts of the world. And killer drone guided by AI slaughters 3 Ukrainians, sparking grave fears. And that was reported in the New York Post. So a drone killed 3 Ukrainians. It was guided entirely by AI. And a fully autonomous AI drone run by an NVIDIA microcomputer killed 3 civilians in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia. So a new Ukraine battlefield milestone is raising alarms around the world. A year after Israeli strike killed journalists at a hospital, no one has been held accountable. So that's something else that is being reported as well. Yemen's Houthis say they attacked ship off of Saudi Arabia's Yanfa. Yemen's Houthi rebels attacked Saudi oil tanker in Red Sea. Yemen Houthis report attack on Saudi oil tanker in the Red Sea, I should say. And Houthis claim strike on Saudi Arabia tanker in latest Red Sea escalation. As we talked about earlier, there's a Trump's Arctic saber rattling that is boosting Iceland's pro-EU campaign. And Ukraine gets more Patriot missiles alongside new air defense support. So what happens when interceptor missiles run out is what The Economist is reporting. And a few arrived, but we need more. Zelensky confirms Ukraine received Patriot missiles. Dwindling Patriot supplies leave Kyiv in the line of fire. So that's something that folks are talking about as well. And disgraced stepson of Norway's future king makes surprise appearance in anniversary photos after rape sentence. Norway, King Harald's health has deteriorated, is what is being reported in, according to some folks in that part of Europe. So Norway's King Harald the Fifth health has worsened, the palace says, and definitely it sounds like he is dealing with some hospital issues and all in that way. Major Archbishop Shevchuk, freedom must never be taken for granted. Prayers for Ukraine affirm values of freedom and human dignity and peace. Bishop Nowakowski issues a message of hope on the 35th anniversary of Ukrainian independence. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about as well. Evangelical leaders joined the Kyiv prayer breakfast and called on the world not to grow weary of the Ukraine war. Iran inflicted billions in damage to U.S. intelligence site, sources are saying, and Colombia's new president, Abelardo de la Espriella, is announcing some changes around immigration. So he's ordering some immigration raids and vows the deportation of migrants without legal status. New Colombian president orders immigration raids as part of his crackdown. So looks like there's been an order of immediate deportation of irregular immigrants from Colombia. It's a political decision, is what is being reported in El País English. What's more than maximum? Trump faces limits on Iran sanctions. And how much sleep do I need? Why you can forget the 8-hour rule is what is being reported in the conversation. Ambush in South Sudan kills peacekeeping troops. 2 UN peacekeepers killed in a South Sudan ambush, and all in that space. Washington Post is ordered to reinstate black opinion writer fired after the Charlie Kirk post as well. So that's definitely something that folks are talking about as well. And definitely looks like 3 killed and some 150 injured in a fire at a Russian gas chemical complex. And this was reported earlier. It says the industrial fire killed some, including 2 Chinese citizens in Russia's Far East. So fire at Amar gas chemical complex kills a Chinese worker and injures over 100, and all in that way. So definitely lots going on in that space, and we'll be talking about more of these stories as well. New Zealand Prime Minister proposes banning children from using social media. So New Zealand plans social media ban for under 16s, and all in that space. And we know that there have been some other countries that have tried to do this as well. So we'll definitely be hearing stories about a number of these things as well. UK taps Ukrainian combat data in AI push to shape the battlefield. Ukraine hands UK intelligence gold mine to foil Putin's saboteurs. So definitely that is something that folks are talking about as well. Medieval Guernsey reading habits revealed in hidden manuscript. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about, as well as manuscript fragments hiding in plain sight shed light on medieval Guernsey's literary life. So rare medieval manuscript fragments reveal Guernsey's lost literary history. It's always interesting when we hear these stories about lost history and all in that space. China fighter jets get a rare chance to fight Rafales in exercise. So in a first, Rafales take on China's J-16 fighters while India is watching closer. So China's J-16s face off against Egypt's Rafales in a combat drill as Iran war rumbles on, and all in that space. And an Israeli lawmaker smashes a Palestinian monument in the West Bank. Israeli lawmaker Tezvi Sakat smashes the Palestinian memorial guarded by the IDF. So Israeli Knesset member vandalizes this Palestinian memorial in the West Bank. And what happens when a luxury European river cruise runs out of river? That's definitely something that folks are talking about as well. So Rhine water rises sharply after rain and ships able to load more cargo. So some people are asking, are unpredictable water levels ruining European river cruises and all in that way? So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. A women's shelter for refugees in Poland fights for survival as anti-Ukrainian sentiment rises. Trump moves toward levying new tariff on China for flooding market with cheap goods and all in that space. Going to play a couple of commercial breaks, including one about one of our founders' organizations and all along those lines. And I might come back with some other news, but this might be about a 30-minute show and everything like that. But let's check out about national pensions.
Welcome to National Pension Partners, where retirement planning meets peace of mind. Today, we're diving into the 412(e)(3 plan, also known as a fully insured pension plan. This isn't just any retirement plan. It's the gold standard for stability and guaranteed benefits. How does it work? Simple. It's funded exclusively by life insurance and annuity contracts. This means no market risks, no actuarial assumptions, just ironclad guarantees. Think of it like this. You're a small business owner who hates surprises. The 412(e)(3 plan gives you predictable, stable contributions every year. Your future benefits are backed by insurance contracts, so you know exactly what you're getting. No guesswork, no headaches. But there's more. These plans are designed to maximize your contributions and offer significant tax advantages. And with National Pension Partners, you're not just getting a plan, you're getting a team of experts, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, all dedicated to making your retirement as secure as possible. We provide personalized consulting, ensuring that your plan is tailored to your specific needs. Best part? Initial consultations and proposals are absolutely free. $0, zero commitment. So if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. With the 412(e)(3 plan, your future is in safe hands. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. Perfect for small business owners who like their finances as predictable as Monday mornings. Stable contributions, ironclad guarantees, and serious tax advantages. It's the trifecta of financial security. And with National Pension Partners, you get a team of brainiacs, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, ensuring your retirement is as secure as Fort Knox. Oh, did we mention the free consultations? That's right. You get a personalized expert proposal with $0 down. So, if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. Because when it comes to your future, boring is the new exciting. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. For more details, check out National Pension Partners at nationalpensions.com. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling.
Folks, so let's get to some U.S. news that has political implications as well. Canada fires back in trade war against Trump with up to 50% tariffs. So Lutnick's last-minute demands are derailed Canada trade talks is what is being reported. So as U.S. and Canada tensions escalate, Republicans could face political consequences and all in that space. An oil tanker attacked in the Strait of Hormuz as Iran claims plan to shoulder Trump sanctions and all in that kind of way. So definitely there's a lot going on in there. Pennsylvania health officials report 2 measles deaths. So 2 unvaccinated people died from measles in Pennsylvania is what officials are saying. And definitely it sounds like that both people were unvaccinated. 2 measles related deaths reported in Pennsylvania, the state's first in 35 years, and everything like that. And of course, the Lindsay Clancy case is still continuing. Expert witnesses testify on her mental state. Expected final Lindsay Clancy trial witness on the stand, and all in that space. And that looks like that's going on right now. And Lindsay Clancy trial's final witness, she said a voice told her, "You have to kill your kids," is what is being reported. Psychologist testifies Lindsay Clancy was criminally responsible for killing her children. And Justice Department considers bringing charges against an ICE officer. So Texas federal judge to hear arguments on extradition of ICE agent to Minnesota. So Abbott tells judge Minnesota's ICE officer extradition lawsuit is doomed to fail. And Supreme Court on mail-in voting restrictions. Trump administration violated court order on mail-in voting rules is what the judge is saying, and this was just reported recently. And judge rules on a voting rights group emergency motion after the Supreme Court ruling. So nothing changes yet with the Supreme Court orders on the elections, but it is still up in the arms of what could be happening in that regards. And Hawk Fire forces thousands to evacuate near Reno, Nevada. Winds remain key factors as crews work to hold Hawk Fire containment lines, and all in that space. As reported earlier, the U.S. plans to revoke up to 200,000 visas. U.S. set for the largest mass visa revocation in history. Up to 200,000 foreigners is what officials are saying. So the U.S. to revoke visas of short-term visitors seeking asylum. So State Department to revoke tourist and business visas for those who claim asylum. And CIA Director John Ratcliffe reportedly visits Moscow. So CIA Director John Ratcliffe is on a secret trip in Russia. CIA Director makes unannounced visit to Moscow to meet with Russian officials, are what sources are saying. So it looks like the U.S. military plane lands in Moscow, with Kremlin claiming it has no information, is all in that way. But we'll see what happens in this surprise trip. And a relentless heat dome is expanding from Texas to California. I know that's something that even Rick was talking about and everything like that. So there's definitely a serious heat wave going on. And Abdul El-Sayed pushes back in Fox News interview, not here to fight a cultural war. El-Sayed and Waters clash in Fox News interview over cultural war and gas prices. And Abdul El-Sayed joins Jesse Waters of Fox News for some light verbal combat, and definitely we'll be hearing more about that as well. Musk won't face charges in Wisconsin over alleged election bribery. The Wisconsin prosecutor declines to charge Musk in election bribery investigation, and all in that space. And Trump administration plans six-figure fee for H-1B visas. Trump administration proposes a $103,000 fee for H-1B visas, and definitely that's looking like that would up that fee, and all in that space. So America's immigration policy is driving away future AI leaders, is what the rest of the world, which is a publication, is reporting. And Bloomberg Law News is saying H-1B rule boosting program oversight moves to White House review. So definitely lots going on there as well. And officials identify Frahali's fire crew member who died after a medical emergency. So this was something that was going on the around Arizona. So Arizona firefighter dies battling a wildfire in New Mexico, and all in that space. And Hasan Piker faces backlash over comments on American Jews. El-Sayed distances himself from popular streamers' comment on Israel and Jewish Americans. Abdul El-Sayed distances himself from streamer Hasan Piker after his remarks on Israel. So definitely that's something that folks are talking about as well. And Flock Safety is changing its privacy rules. Will it quiet the backlash? Flock cameras are spreading across America. The backlash is growing just as fast. Flock cameras expand in Maryland as police log 1.1 billion license plate reads and everything like that. So it looks like Flock cameras are watching millions of Americans, and it's sparking a bipartisan revolt. And last but not least, we got a couple of stories that involve Trump. Trump says U.S. could rename Lake Ontario as Lake America amid the Canada trade wars, and cattle producers are criticizing Donald Trump's beef import plans. So Trump is facing backlash from Republicans over plans to limit tariffs on beef imports. GOP lawmakers rebuke Trump's plan to increase beef imports. He is wrong, is what is being reported in the Salt Lake Tribune. Ranchers are disappointed in Donald Trump's beef import push, and all in that way. So on that note, we're going to end this particular edition of World Politics. Nobody else joined us on this one, but it was a good 30-minute conversation, and I'll go out with a couple of commercials and all along those lines. But then we're going to get on out of here, and we'll see folks on World Edition on tomorrow and all in that space. Right now, we have a couple of small advertisements and get ready to get on out of here.
Welcome to National Pension Partners, where retirement planning meets peace of mind. Today, we're diving into the 412(e)(3) plan, also known as a fully insured pension plan. This isn't just any retirement plan. It's the gold standard for stability and guaranteed benefits. How does it work? Simple. It's funded exclusively by life insurance and annuity contracts. This means no market risks, no actuarial assumptions, just ironclad guarantees. Think of it like this. You're a small business owner who hates surprises. The 412(e)(3) plan gives you predictable, stable contributions every year. Your future benefits are backed by insurance contracts, so you know exactly what you're getting. No guesswork, no headaches. But there's more. These plans are designed to maximize your contributions and offer significant tax advantages. And with National Pension Partners, you're not just getting a plan. You're getting a team of experts, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, all dedicated to making your retirement as secure as possible. We provide personalized consulting, ensuring that your plan is tailored to your specific needs. Best part? Initial consultations and proposals are absolutely free. $0, zero commitment. So if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. With the 412(e)(3) plan, your future is in safe hands. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. Perfect for small business owners who like their finances as predictable as Monday mornings. Stable contributions, ironclad guarantees, and serious tax advantages. It's the trifecta of financial security. And with National Pension Partners, you get a team of brainiacs, attorneys, CPAs, actuaries, ensuring your retirement is as secure as Fort Knox. Oh, did we mention the free consultations? That's right. You get a personalized expert proposal with $0 down. So, if you want a retirement plan that's as reliable as your morning coffee, head over to nationalpensions.com. Because when it comes to your future, boring is the new exciting. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling. For more details, check out National Pension Partners at nationalpensions.com. Retirement planning never sounded so thrilling.